We're live. Hello, hello. Good afternoon, you gorgeous self-lovers. It's Katie here joining you again for another lesson from the Self-Love Affair, which is my book. Most of you who've been following the lessons every week know all about the book. And here she is again, The Self-Love Affair, A Woman's Guide to a Daring and Mighty Life. And I would say that we are well and truly halfway through the book now. We're up to the subject and the chapter, which is all about your inner child. And I've got to say, hi, Lindsay. Gorgeous to have you. Hi, sweetheart. Anyone else joining, please let me know that you're coming on and where you're calling from. In fact, I might just give you a couple of seconds to arrive because I don't want you to miss too much. Hey, Jean, it's really good to have you back, darling. Really awesome. I can see that you've been quite involved in this menopause chat that I've been having on Facebook recently. And I've just come off a call with an agency who are involved in this as well now, and it's become quite a beautiful project. And I am going to be running an interview series all around the menopause, specifically targeted, created actually. Hey, you're awake in Australia. Hey, Lala, I can't believe it. Hello, hello, hello. You're up. I can't believe it. You know there's a replay, right? You don't actually have to be live. But that's so awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah, I was just saying I'm putting together this interview series, which is specifically for women who are wanting to prepare for it and want to get educated to have the most empowered experience possible. So that's completely off track from what today's lesson is about. But Jean, I know that you've been part of the Facebook conversation about that. And yeah, School of Self-Love is all about empowering women and helping them to know and love themselves more. And I, as a woman who am pretty sure is in perimenopause, which is the lead into menopause, at only the age of 43, so that's taken me by surprise. I'm all about empowerment and having every stage of our life and every part of our human experience be a conscious experience, a masterful experience, an awakened experience, and have it be the most positive experience it can be. So I'm on a massive learning curve with it right now, and I'm going to be sharing that with women. So maybe you guys will be part of that interview series as well. Well, not that I'll be interviewing you per se, but you'll get to listen to all the amazing experts that are lining up right now to be interviewed. Like, there is a hunger for this information, so it's pretty exciting. Anyway, I can see you're joining, and I might just dive in. I don't know if you can feel my energy today. Oh, hold on. Sally wants to say something about, hey, Sally, nice to see you. Have been through and out the other side of the menopause at nearly 60, and I use acupuncture. Awesome. That's wonderful. And see, this is the thing for this series. I want to really interview experts and discover all different ways of managing menopause and have it be your own personal experience and empower you with all sorts of tips and tools from all different genres and belief systems and cultures and so on. So it's going to be really, really interesting. But yeah, as I was saying, I don't know if you can feel my energy. I don't know if you can, because I've started to go off subject and speak about something else, my energy shifted. But as I came onto the call today, I'm really, really, really connected with my inner child right now. And I feel very soft. I feel very vulnerable. I feel very deeply in love with myself. You know, that the vulnerable part of me, the delicate part of me, the part of me that's new to this world. I tuned in with my inner child before coming on this call because I'm going to be talking to you today all about the inner child. And, you know, I don't really prepare a lot for these training calls. I know my material. I wrote the book. I teach and coach this stuff all day, every day. So it's not like I need to learn it to come and teach it to you. So I don't do a hell of a lot of prep. But what I do is I just take some time to just energetically tune into what it is I'm going to teach. I do actually call on my guides and angels to support me. I have a little chat with my empowered self, with my spiritual self, to ensure that the message that needs to come through today is going to come through, that you receive what you need to receive today as well. Hey, Lala says you look amazing. Thank you. That's really lovely. And Sally, I think your message has popped through twice. Okay. So yeah, today is all about the inner child. And like I said, I've just been connecting in with mine. And before I even dive into the teaching today and the homework that I really would love to give you, and I hope that you'll do it, I want you to just have an experience right now. Before I tell you anything, I would love for you just to feel into and experience your inner child. Sally says, I know the space. I wrote my book from that place too. And you do look incredible. Oh, well, you're all full of compliments. Thank you so much. Okay, let's do this. So just take a minute, guys, girls. Take a minute and just close your eyes. And, you be comfortable. If it helps you at all, and it might do, just to take your hands and maybe you could put them on your heart or maybe on your solar plexus, I think. Yeah, or even both, your heart and your solar plexus is rather lovely to connect within. And just breathe and just remember who you are as a little girl. See, even just saying that to you makes me smile, because I'm already tapping into the innocence and the beauty and the cheekiness and mischievousness of a little girl. And just tune into her. Remember who she was. And I want you to go back to maybe when, like, intuitively, you'll be taken where you need to go. If you're not going there easily, maybe imagine you at the age of 5. Whenever I tune into my little girl, I always have this image, and it's a photograph for me. And I see this picture of me as a 5-year-old just starting school. And I'm carrying this huge book bag. It's like a big sack, and it's full of books. And I've got a very 70s little short haircut. I've had my hair all chopped off for some reason. And I just look so innocent and so vulnerable, ready to go to school. It could have even been my first day of school, this picture I have in my mind. And I just look into the eyes of that little girl. And she's got such a worried look on her face, actually. And I'm going to share this with you on today's call. She's worried. And that was how she was. She was always very worried. And she took that worry all the way through her childhood into her adulthood. And I'm going to say something about that in a moment. But I want you to have an experience right now of your little girl. Just look into her eyes. It could be a memory of a photograph. It could be an actual ability to remember a time in your life. See what she's doing. Just look at her. Who's she hanging out with? How old is she? What's she playing with? What kind of stuff does she do? What makes her happy? What makes her sad? What does she get excited about? What's she scared of? Just tune into that little girl. Just remember who she is. And I'm loving doing this with you because it's giving me a chance to really spend some beautiful quality time with my little girl, and it's making me cry. Where's my tissues? It's making tears come up for me, and I don't know if it is for you. I can see we've got some new people arriving. Let me know who you are when you're coming onto the call and where you're calling from. And let me know, just type in for me now, how has it felt to spend just, I don't know, how long did we spend then? 2 minutes? A couple of minutes, just remembering who you were as a little girl. What did you look like? What were you doing? How were you feeling? Hey, Lala says, oh. Is that all because I'm crying, or is that how you're feeling? How does it feel to tune into that part of you? If you could just type one word for me, ladies. You've just done this with me, I hope. And tell me one word. How did that feel? I mean, for me, it's brought up some sadness. It's more tears of joy, though. It's that beautiful connection. It feels so good for me that it makes me cry because it makes me feel so connected. Sally says, wow, so in tune. I'm looking at my first photograph of school. That was beautiful. I write the book, Remember Who You Are. So in tune for me today. It's synchronistic coming into today. Yeah, great. Thanks, Sally. It is very synchronistic. If you've written a book, Remember Who You Truly Are. That's just perfect. Yeah. Okay. Gorgeous. Halala says yes. Yeah. Beautiful. So yeah, this is, it's a really, really important experience to remember. Oh, sorry, Jean is saying she feels worried and fearful. Okay. And that's okay. And I'm so glad you've been honest with that. So glad, Jean. Thank you, because that's going to be really powerful for today. Halala, her word is freedom. You felt free, and that's wonderful. And actually, just for the benefit of everybody else, I've known Halala since I was... how old was I? Hey, I was probably about 10 years old. And I remember you as a little girl. And yes, freedom is so who you were. And it's so wonderful to reconnect with those positive aspects of who we were as little girls as well. And Jean has connected to the worried, fearful little girl. And I totally hear you. And what that's showing you, Jean and Halala, is, you know, this is a part of you that is looking for healing. There's more messages coming up. Hold on one second. I might have to like figure out how to turn off the messages while I'm speaking, because they come straight up in my screen and it's a bit distracting, and then I'll come back to it. But yeah, you know, if you're worried and fearful, that's just a message to show you where you need some deeper healing, and actually how inner child work can really support you. And if you're having the experience of freedom, and for me, as much as I see myself as a worried little girl, I also see this very sensitive, beautiful little soul, really sensitive. And that's such a positive thing. That's such a positive part of who I am. Halala, your freedom, yes, that's such a positive expression of who you really are. And the importance of bringing that into our adult life. Like for me, to bring my sensitivity into my day-to-day adult life, that's so important for me to show up authentically as who I am. Same for you, Halala, you know, to be free. Sally says she thinks worry can be a sensitivity. Yes, it can. Absolutely. She says, beautiful, bless you. I was needing to make a decision, and we'll do it from that space, a space of innocence. Absolutely. I love that. So now that you've had a little bit of an experience of your inner child and remembering who she is, yes, and Halala's remembering that I was a worried little girl. Yes, I was. Very sensitive and really quite worried and pretty shy. And yeah, it's funny to think how shy I used to be. And you look at just how exposed, not quite the right word, but just how visible, that's the word I was looking for, visible I am now with my work. And I am not shy anymore, that's for sure. Although I do still get the jitters before I get up to speak in public, but even that's got better. So, okay, let's just tune into this inner child part and why this is such an important part of your transformational journey. So for those of you that have been watching the trainings for the last 10, 11 weeks, and we're now halfway through the book, The Self-Love Affair, as you know, you have been tuning into what it was about your childhood that was negative, and that is sabotaging you being the woman you want to be now and feeling the way that you want to feel now. I can see there's more messages coming through, and I'm going to get to those. I'm just going to talk for a bit, and then I'm going to come back to you guys. So yeah, we've been going through this transformational journey of discovering what it is that's been blocking you from having the experience of life in yourself that you really want to be having. And largely, a lot of sabotaging belief systems and behavioral habits have come from your parents, largely. And again, as you know, that's without blame. And you have done a lot of really amazing work so far, if you've been doing the work, to heal those pieces through emotional expression. So as you know, you took on a lot of those sabotaging belief and behavioral habits when you were a little girl, and you took them on emotionally, you took them on energetically. Remember, emotion is energy in motion. So we took those pieces on emotionally because when we were very young, you know, under the age of 7 is when a lot of our deepest programming and conditioning begins. We don't have a mental faculty then. Do you remember that lesson? So we don't have a mental faculty. We don't have a reasoning faculty. We're not deciding or choosing to take on the negative messagings and beliefs and behaviors. We're not choosing it. We're doing it through an emotional, energetic response to us needing to survive. I'm not going to go back into that training. We did that training, and you can find it back in the catalog of videos that are in the Self-Love Hub and that are actually on my YouTube channel, Daring and Mighty TV. So you can go back to that. But just to recap, you took on that stuff that isn't serving you energetically through having an emotional experience. So you can heal a hell of a lot of that through the work, through the transformational processes I have taken you through thus far. And what makes you you, and what makes you so unique in the world, and what gives you your edge in terms of being of service in the world is often going to link back to those deepest pieces about ourselves that, you know, where we've really had real deep pain. Like, we can't erase that. We can learn to, we can get conscious to it, we can heal it a hell of a lot, and we can live life knowing that that happened to us without it controlling us anymore. You know, so we are living life in response to life rather than in reaction to the past and those unhealed events. You have done a lot of work to heal stuff so that you're now living responsively and responsibly rather than reactively. That said, some of your deepest wounding, which really makes you who you are, and if you can use that gift in your life, then even better, it's there. It's gonna keep coming up for you. Like, to use me as an example, I just related to you that when I tune into my little girl, I see a beautifully sensitive little thing who I just want to wrap my arms around and squeeze and tell her everything's going to be okay. And she was really worried, and she had good reason to worry, because she, you know, as when we're very young, our intuition is really high because we're still very new in the world. We're still very unaffected by our humanness. And my intuition told me that, you know, that mom and dad both had stuff going on that had their attention elsewhere. And they loved me the best they could. And I really know they really, really loved me. And they were great parents to their best, you know, the best of their ability with the tools that they had. My mum was clinically depressed, right? And something within me, I didn't know she was depressed, but something within me knew that she was really consumed by something else. So she couldn't give me her fullest attention all the time. Emotionally, she was filled up with other stuff going on. So I knew intuitively I didn't emotionally have her attention. She couldn't give me that emotional support. Although I can see in so many ways how she tried. She tried her damnedest. But she had a lot of pain going on. And my dad was really distracted by all sorts of things going on in his life. You know, he was there but not there for a lot of reasons. And he had a lot of his own sort of mental, emotional wounds, I would say. I don't want to say too much because I like to protect an element of my family's privacy. Suffice to say, he was there but not there, and he had his own stuff going on. And the little girl in me, you know, that she knew. She just knew, and she didn't feel safe. And quite frankly, she knew without being able to speak the words. She feared that one day both of them were going to leave her. It was a huge fear. She feared that mum was going to die and dad was going to leave to be with somebody else. And that is actually what happened. You know, my mum did end up taking her own life. And my dad did have other relationships before that happened. And he wasn't the most faithful. And there was a lot of misery in that marriage, I guess. And he left several times until he really did leave. And that was, the little girl in me was scared about that, and for good reason. And that worry that she had from such an early age stuck with me all through life. Now, I've done a hell of a lot of healing around that, to the degree that I now have a relationship with my worry that's so self-loving. It's full of so much compassion. Like, I don't look at the worry as being this really annoying thing in my life that I have to fix. You know, it doesn't make me angry. It does. When I worry, and interestingly, I have such a great relationship with worry that I pretty much don't worry anymore. And when I do, and this is the inner child work that I'm going to teach you now, when I do, I use my inner child's teachings and learnings to heal and to go to another level of really knowing and loving myself. So through the transformational process I have taught you and you've been through so far, I really, really healed this behavioral habit, which is really what it was, this behavioral habit of mine to worry about everything. And that worry would escalate into terrible anxiety and panic attacks. And I don't get those anymore. I used to live with them. I used to literally be on the floor with them, literally. And I don't get that anymore. I mean, I do not suffer anxiety and panic. I don't remember the last time I had an anxiety and panic attack. It must have been like 10 years ago, right? So I don't. Which is wonderful. So this transformational process really, really works. And I know that when life throws me a curveball and when I can start worrying about something, then there's more messages and they're from Sally, and I will come back to you in a minute, Sally, but you'll get to know me and I can go off track too quick and I can't remember my way back. So I know that when worry comes up for me, that part of me that is worried is my little girl. That the energy of my little girl is still a very, very real part of who I am. And it's my responsibility, because remember, self-love is self-responsibility. It is my responsibility to love all parts of me and to love that part of me that's worried, that little girl. So, because I was going to go off on another tangent. I won't. So it's to remember that when I worry, it's not adult Katie that's worried, because the truth is adult Katie is very intelligent. She's very resourceful. She can figure shit out. She's survived all sorts in her life. I mean, this adult has survived being homeless for a period of time, having zero money, having no job, at the same time as having a baby in nappies and being completely alone. Like, she knows how to figure stuff out. She's gone from that to where I am now, which is in a very amazing relationship with an amazing family, with an amazing business. And she's really like helping people in the world and doing pretty awesome stuff, right? Like I'm really, really proud of where I have come from and where I am now. I did that because I am resourceful, because I'm clever, I'm intelligent, I know how to figure stuff out. Same as you. I know that you are too. You're on this call because you are that woman. I attract women like me, so you are that. So when I start worrying, I don't have any, if I check it out, I don't have any real need to worry, because I will always figure it out. I am a survivor. Sure, we're here to thrive, absolutely. And that's why this inner child work is so powerful, because it has us move from surviving into thriving. So I can check out the worry, and I can remember that I'm an adult that knows how to sort stuff out and that will figure it out. And that really what's going on is there's a little girl inside of me that is worried, because the little girl can't figure it out. A little girl doesn't know how to manage her finances. A little girl doesn't know how to run a business. A little girl doesn't know how to have empowered conversations in an adult relationship. A little girl doesn't know how to parent a child. A little girl doesn't know how to have healthy female friendships. So whatever the pieces that I'm worrying about, the little girl inside me absolutely is overwhelmed and out of her comfort zone, because she doesn't know how to do that. But that part of me can get triggered. And the self-loving act, and this is the inner child work, is to talk to that part of me that's being triggered, and to remember that, oh yeah, that's right. There's a part of you that has every good reason to worry. And I remember my personal story, and I remember what was going on with mum and dad. And I remember specific events throughout the course of my life, my whole timeline, where I felt very unsafe and very alone, very exposed and vulnerable, very lost, very abandoned. Like there are several pieces across the timeline of my life where I had very good bloody reason to feel worried and to feel anxious and to feel scared, you know, to feel completely left and abandoned. I had good reason. Now that is not what's going on now, but I carry the worry and the anxiety from that. So the inner child work is to notice the piece that's coming up, to notice just how immature it is. And I don't say that in a judgmental way, just energetically. I can feel it. When worry comes in, I can feel it's like, it's kind of an immature feeling. It feels young. It doesn't feel like adult Katie who can sort shit out, right? It just feels young. It feels delicate. And then I remember, oh yeah, that's that part of me that experienced what she experienced. So I chat to her and I say, hey, Katie, and I know in my mind, I see that little girl with her book bag. And I say, hey, darling, what's going on? What's the worry? And what is really powerful, I mean, I can do this in my head now because I've been doing this work a long time, but I will still get out my journal sometimes. And if you're just starting out on this journey, then use your journal and write yourself. Maybe you had a nickname, you know, hey, Pookie, what's going on for you? And, you know, what's the worry about? Why are you worrying? And you write that as adult self, and then you allow the little girl in you, Pookie, if that's her nickname. That wasn't my nickname. What was my nickname? Lulybell. That was my nickname. Hey, Lulybell. What's going on for you? And then allow her to write back, I feel scared. So the adult then says, what are you scared about? And she says, well, I'm really scared that we're not going to have any money this month. And what makes you scared about that? Well, we might end up homeless again. And what makes you scared? And you go backwards and forwards, and you have this dialogue backwards and forwards with her. And you remind her, you let her say all that she feels. There's without judgment. Let the victim voice almost. It's really, this part of you has got quite a strong victim voice, and allow it. Just allow it, because it's owning you right now. So you, by healing it, by hearing it, by giving it a voice, it's not owning you anymore. Let her speak. Talk to her. Imagine, like, if any of you ladies have a child, then you know how to have a dialogue with a child, right? If you don't have a child, imagine having a dialogue with anybody else's child. This is how it goes. How are you? What's going on for you? Oh, why do you feel like that? Notice your tone of voice when you're speaking to a little girl. Notice your tone. Notice the language, the simplicity of the language. You remember, you come down to her level and you speak to her in a language that makes sense for her. And you do it in a way, we don't have any judgment of kids, right? There's no judgment. We're not harsh. We're genuinely interested because we genuinely want to help them to come to seeing something differently so that she feels better. And that is what you're doing. You're an adult having a conversation with a little girl. So you keep the conversation going. And when you feel, and the little girl feels, when everyone feels like she said all she needs to say, adult you says, you know what, I hear you. It makes so much sense that you feel like that because, you know, your story. I understand why you feel like that. It makes so much sense. And I want to tell you right now that I'm here to take care of things. I know you feel scared. I know you feel unsupported. I know you feel like you're going to be abandoned and left. But I am the adult and I'm going to take care of you. I've got this. I know who to call to sort that out. I know what to Google. I have so much experience and proof in my evidence in my life that I can sort stuff out, that I can take care of us. I've done it again and again and again, and I'm going to continue to do it. I've got this. I'm here for you. You don't need to worry. You're okay. You're supported. You're safe. It's an important one. The little girl, that little part of you needs to know that she's safe. You're safe. I love you. You're safe. I've got this. what you're doing is you're essentially reparenting that little girl. And every single time you have these conversations, that reparenting is working. And that little girl is feeling safer and safer and safer in the world. She's healing, because really at the end of the day, the deepest beliefs of our inner child are that I'm not enough or I'm too much. And then fundamentally what that then boils down to is I'm not lovable. Like there's something about me that is damaged and imperfect and I'm not lovable. So that's what we're healing when we're having these inner child conversations with ourselves. We are reparenting. Remember, this is all energy. You're not talking to a physical little girl because you've grown up. But energetically, that part of you is still within you. So your adult self must speak to that part and say, I'm going to handle this. I'm going to take care of you. When mum and dad couldn't, when mum and dad emotionally couldn't care for you, I can, because I know how, because I've done so much healing, because I know and I trust myself. I'm here for you. I'm going to take care of you. And it's really crazy powerful what can happen when we start to have conversations like that with our little girl. Because instantly she can relax. Oh my God, what a relief for her to hear an adult say, you're safe. You're okay. I got this. I got you. And you know what? All you need to do is be a little girl. And it's a really nice thing to do to round off a conversation like this. Like when she's feeling better, when she feels safe and held and she can trust you and she can let go of control, because she's trying to control everything. She's trying to control everything to the degree that your adult life is being held back because of that part of you that's overwhelmed and really doesn't know how to handle being an adult, is trying so hard to hold on and not letting you just get on with the job of being an adult and making decisions and sorting shit out, right? So when she feels like she can just relax and be, you say to her, your only job now is to be a 5-year-old girl, if that's the age you're speaking to. What do you need? Music to her ears. You ask her, what do you need? She's like, oh, I feel like playing. Oh, okay. Play. What kind of play do you want? And listen to her. What does she need? Does she want to go for an ice cream? Does she need to go for a swim? Does she feel like doing some, I don't know, cartwheels in the garden? Does she want to eat some chocolate, something naughty? Like, what does she need? And give her it. Listen to what she needs and make sure you inject that into your adult life. She's probably looking for some joy and some fun and some excitement and some connection and friendships, right? And she's probably looking for a little treat. That's what she needs. And that's, you reward that. And you reward yourself for doing such powerful transformational work. Allow yourself to have the joy and fun. That's what she's asking for. And then you can just go on and get on with being an adult and have fun at the same time, right? So I'm wondering how this is landing for you guys right now. I'm just going to read through. Sally's left a couple of messages, which I didn't read yet. And as I'm reading out Sally's messages, I would really love for you to tell me, like, how is this landing for you? How are you feeling as you hear this? And have you got any questions? Because I really love to address questions if I can. So Sally says, I'm a full-blown empath. We're not taught that that is a gift. Now I use it all the time. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Often we're not taught that empathy is a gift. I think my son is an empath as well, and that's something that I'm having conversations with him about quite often, about his sensitivity being so beautiful. And Sally says, wow, Katie, bless you. You're such a beautiful soul. Thank you for sharing all of this to help others. You've done so much healing. I commend you highly. You're amazing. Oh, wow. Thank you, Sally. I received that, and thank you so much. And I have done a lot of healing. I'm really, really committed to my own transformation, and I'm really committed to being a self-love coach and helping other people to have that experience as well. So yeah, I do walk my talk, and I appreciate it when it's noticed. So thank you. Thank you. That's gorgeous. Any other comments? How is this landing for you guys? How does it feel to begin a conversation with your own inner child? And do you have any questions for me? And while I'm going to give you just a moment to write, just going to have a really quick look at my book here to make sure. I don't think there's anything else I really wanted to tell you today. I think I might have covered it. I don't know. Do you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. Jean, yes. Jean has said, sounds good, but I'm not sure I trust myself as an adult. I feel that I've made a lot of wrong decisions along the way. Okay, Jean, and that's right. Okay, that's a really, really good point. And that's why, have you, Jean, tell me, are you doing this work? Have you been, I mean, I get it. There's only so much you can do on your own going through a transformational process like this. And maybe you need some support, right? Maybe you need some support, and definitely being witnessed and having somebody to kind of hold your hand and take you through it is going to speed up the process and have you see what you can't see. That's the role of a coach, by the way. But hold on, it's just disappearing. But I hear you not trusting yourself as an adult. I really understand that, and you can begin to heal that. And that's what I've been teaching you through this self-love affair process. And I want to just, what I want to say to you, Jean, hold on, let me just fill into this. We all make wrong decisions, darling. We all make wrong decisions. I get it. Oh my God, I've made so many. I've made some doobies in my life. And I know that you know this. Every bad decision, that's led to a difficult life experience, you know, I know that's been the making of me. I know it's a gift of love. I know that. I know that it's moved me on the path to being of purpose in the world in a way that is meant for me. So yes, I've made some really shitty decisions, but I've chosen to use them as a gift, to take the learning from each wrong decision, to probably not do it again, right? And to take the personal growth and learning from it to my next level. And darling, it feels to me like some self-forgiveness might be required there. That was last week's chapter, wasn't it? It was all around forgiveness. And maybe you need to do some forgiveness on yourself and to let that go and allow yourself to see the gift of love in every wrong decision you made. Because actually, wrong decision, it's interesting, isn't it? We judge it as being wrong, but actually it could be the most right decision because it's given you the experience that you needed to have to know what you need to know about yourself so you can evolve and go to your next level, which is really rather beautiful. And then you can use that experience to empower yourself further in your life. And I don't know what your profession is, Jean, but you might have told me, and I'm sorry, I've forgotten. But you can use it to empower other people in their lives, perhaps. Who knows? Even if it's just other friends and family. Okay. Jean says, let me go up. I've done some, but could always use more. Hold on, I'm just trying to keep the track of this. Can easily forgive others, but not so much with myself. Yeah, okay. And that right there, that's the piece, Jean. That's what I would recommend that you really focus on now is self-forgiveness and really start. And I think this inner child work is going to be so supportive for you because it feels like, you know, self-forgiveness really requires you to understand your story and to have the compassion and love for you having been the victim to all sorts of pieces in your life that have really caused you a lot of pain. Yeah, and it's hard to have self-forgiveness when we haven't healed. When we haven't, sorry, I'm seeing messages flash up and I'm getting distracted. It's hard to have I'm going to close my eyes so I don't see them. It's hard to have self-forgiveness when we haven't connected to ourselves with deep understanding and compassion. Because there's a reason why you've experienced everything you've experienced. And it's important that you have compassion for that. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Anyway, let me move on and it'll probably come back, Jean. Hold on a sec. Let me just read these other messages. Hey, Lala says, geez, I never did, as you would know, but that's something I'll have to work on. Hey, Lala, I'm so sorry. I don't quite understand what you're saying. I probably asked a question and then you've responded to that question, but I can't remember what I said. I never did, as you would know, but that's something I'll have to work on. Okay, maybe elaborate for me, Dylan, because I can't quite grasp what you're saying there. And Tanya, hi Tanya, good to have you back. Yes, beautiful. I'm sensitive and love deep connections, but I feel like an alien. Okay. So yeah, you need to own who you are, my darling. It's really, yeah, you're a sensitive woman and you love deep connection. I love that. And me too. Both of those things. I love that. And you feel like an alien. Well, what part of you need to question? Like, just check in with yourself. What part of you feels like an alien? And how could you own that part of you more? So you would ask, that would be the line of questioning with yourself in your journal. I feel like an alien. What about me? What about me feels like an alien? And write about that. What do I need to believe about myself to not feel like an alien? Right? What else? What do I need to believe about myself to own the truth of who I am even more? How can I take full ownership of who I am? How could I more fully love and accept myself? What do I need to believe to more fully love and accept myself? Yeah. So Tanya, I would really encourage you to go through a line of questioning, some deep sort of personal inquisition there, to feel into that piece. Because yeah, if you feel like an alien, like that's a big energetic block, isn't it? Keeping aspects of the world separate to you. And if you love deep connection, then it's hard to feel deeply connected. And it goes both ways, to feel deeply connected with others and with yourself when you've got an energetic block that says, I'm different. Because that's saying I can't connect, isn't it? And I'm reading a lot into one sentence there. But I hope that what I just said is helpful. So Jean says, I've done some, but could always use more. I'm presuming you mean some coaching and therapy. And yes, me too. I've done loads and I still do it and I'm on it and I never stop. I think being supported by a coach is like the most life-changing commitment you could ever make. It will speed up your process, hands down, and it's worth every penny. Speaking from experience, not just as the coach. Christina, hello, darling. Good to have you back. Thank you, Katie. All very new to me, just realizing that I'm not good at feeling. Sweetheart, you are so not alone. I work with so many women that I've worked with many women actually who, when they first started coaching with me, have said, I can't feel anything. And they really can't. And, you know, and now sometime down the track, they have connection to their feelings and they're way more emotional than they ever gave themselves credit. And being connected to our emotions is, that's our path to freedom. Being connected to your emotions will give you freedom. It is so, so liberating. And, you know, when you say you're not good at feeling, what I've discovered with a lot of women, and this was the case for me quite some time ago, is not having a language for our emotions. It's developing like an emotional vocabulary. And I've helped quite a few clients with that, actually, just finding an emotional vocabulary so they can actually put a word to what it is that they're feeling. Because we're just not in the practice of it, because our society hasn't, a very patriarchal society, hasn't shown us how to identify our feelings. All it has shown us is how to push down and ignore them. It's told us that a lot of our tougher feelings are bad, that they're not, socially acceptable, particularly our anger or our deep grief and sadness. Like, it's not very socially acceptable. So, and most of us have jobs and we're out in the world and we're doing the 9 to 5. And like, where do we go to express them? Not least, they're bad. So we should just ignore and push them down. So we don't even give a language to them. We don't even like take the time to connect in with our feelings and name them and name the whole range of them. Because usually, and I've done a training on this a few weeks ago, and you can go back and find the recording of that. But, you know, we can be feeling so many things at once, can't we? I know for myself, like right now, I'm excited and optimistic because I'm loving doing this training. I also know I'm really tired at the moment. and my energy levels have been a lot lower than usual. So I'm like excited and energized right now because I'm doing a training. I also know my truth is my body is tired. I can feel really angry and really loving almost simultaneously, depending on what's going on, right? So yeah, it's but it is about finding words for what we're feeling. Absolutely. So that perhaps, my lovely, is something for you to practice. Yeah. Jean says, can easily forgive others but not myself. Yes, we touched on that. Oh, and then Jean says, I'm starting my own business while working in customer service. Ah, cool. I feel that rings a bell. I feel like you might have told me that before. I'd be interested to know what your own business is. How exciting. Oh, hey, Lala, you've never connected with your inner child. Okay, yeah, and totally. And most people haven't. And that's why this work is so powerful. And I do take you through it very specifically in the book. I like to keep my trainings not completely in alignment with the book because I just want to speak what comes out. I think that's usually more powerful. But if you go and read the inner child chapter in here, it will explain everything in even more detail, and it will outline the homework exercise of how to have that dialogue with the little girl within you very, very clearly, if I haven't been clear enough today. So check that out. Tanya says, FEX, that's probably an abbreviation for something I don't know. I love to be in a partnership, but he hasn't shown up yet. You're amazing. Thank you. Okay, Dylan. So yeah, I would love to kind of talk with you more on that. I think that I'm just going to put it out there and you can take it or leave it because I'm basing this again on one sentence. But he's not shown up yet. There's something within you that isn't available for him to come in. There's something within you that says that you're an alien. And I would love for you to investigate what alien even means to you. I'm gathering it means that you're different, but I want you to explore what different means to you. Like, why are you different and why is that bad? Why have you decided it's bad to be different, if indeed you have? But I feel that's the energy I'm getting off your comments, because I want you to identify what it is about you that you aren't allowing and fully accepting and fully loving and fully owning. Because for you to call in your true soulmate, your life partner, and I did this work, so I'm speaking from total experience. I was single for many years, 8 years to be precise, before I called in James, and I did some deep, deep, deep work to identify, like, what was it within me? What energetically was it about me and within me that was blocking my man, like the guy I was really meant to be with, from coming in? And part of that is fully owning and accepting who you are. And I totally have to do that as a self-love coach, right? And if it's helpful, Tanya, I have created an online program called Daring and Mighty Love, using my own experience and all the coaching techniques that I use to create a program to help single women call in their one. But it is more about self-preparation. It's more about doing the energetic work and the emotional clearing work and a lot of the transformational work to have you be vibrating where you need to be energetically vibrating to call him in, so that you're a match for this amazing, awesome human that I know that you're ready for, right? It's actually getting you ready so that he can come in. I don't teach you how to use online dating. I don't teach you how to do and say and behave in the perfect way for a date. It's not about that. It's about preparing you to and be the most healed version of you so that he can come in. It's a really powerful program. It's called Daring and Mighty Love, and it's on the School of Self-Love website. I'll put the link in here afterwards for you. Jean says, lost you. Jean says, I'm bringing a product to market for crafters to use in their own work. How exciting. Love it. Tanya says, yes, it's not bad, but it needs to connect for the expansion. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, Tanya. I get it. Anyway, I would really encourage you, Tanya, to do that deeper self-inquiry. I think it will support you enormously. So, ladies, I've enjoyed being with you today. I think I'm going to wrap up. I feel like we're complete. I hope that I've shone a little bit of light on the inner child. I've got to say, from my own experience, I've done a lot of inner child work. I received it myself with coaches who've actually taken me through very, very deep inner child transformational work, and which goes way beyond what I've just shared with you today. And I do that with my own clients as well. I take them, I mean, it really is borderline therapy, although I am not a therapist, but we go really, really deep, and I take my clients right back into their childhood and we explore it, and we do a lot of deep healing, and I reconnect the adult self with the child self so that they can go on from our session to create an ongoing sort of parent-child relationship where the adult self gets to reparent the little girl day by day by day, thereby healing that part within. It's really, really powerful work. And if you're interested to explore anything like that with me, let me know. I'm available. So let me know, and we can see if a little bit of inner child coaching is what's needed for you. Tanya says, yes, thank you. You're so welcome, Tanya. Love you lots. Also, don't forget, I am having conversations with women now about Live Louder, my 6-month group coaching program. I will put the link for that underneath here, but it's an incredibly powerful 6-month coaching group. And oh God, the women that go through that come out the other side utterly transformed. And I would love to know if you are going to be one of those women. Get in touch with me. We will have a conversation to see if it is the right fit for you. Okay. And by the way, as part of that, we do a lot of really powerful inner child work, and I will take you through in person inner child transformational coaching. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. All right. Well, I think there's no more messages. So, there's one more message. Sally says, awesome, Katie. I will connect with you. Fantastic. So good to have you. I love you, ladies. Keep doing what you're doing. Remember, self-love is self-responsibility. I teach this, but knowing it is not going to change anything in your life. So what I teach, you have got to apply. And remember, what you can't see for yourself is what is controlling you, and that is why hiring in a coach or some level of support or therapy is going to speed up your process so much, because we don't know what we don't know, right? So do this work, follow the book, watch the videos, because every single video I'm doing actually gives you even more information on top of the book. And do your best, like take yourself through the experience that this outlines, and please don't be ashamed or embarrassed or scared to ask for extra support, because actually there's a lot about this work that really does require support. Okay, and you got to know your limits. You got to know what you can do on your own, and you got to know at which point you then require support. And I'm here to help. And there's a couple more messages. Jean says it's been helpful. Thank you. You're so welcome. Hey, Lala says, thanks, gorgeous. It's been so good seeing you, and I'm so proud of who you are. Love and miss you loads. Thank you. Hey, Lala, thank you so much. I'm so proud that you got out of bed at, must be like 1 o'clock in the morning. Crazy. You better go back to sleep now, okay? Sleep well. Love you all, and I will see you next week. Okay, have a lovely week till then, and have a lovely Easter. Happy Easter. See you later. Bye-bye.